That job was super toxic. And guess what? The one of the former superintendents that had all these charges in Illinois now is facing charges because allegedly they DA'd their spouse allegedly in front of the children. So I don't wish that on anybody at all. And the wife was saying that this individual is under a considerable amount of stress. That would make sense. I wonder how many people that person had under stress. You have to be real careful with power and everything. That person, that has a sweet position. But why would a school system hire someone that already was going to be facing federal charges? Why would all those board members, except for one, oppose it? And by the way, I believe they created a smear campaign for this one particular board member. She was accused of all kind of stuff, and she was mobbed. They're saying that she's violating ethics and doing all this stuff allegedly. I know one thing that she did is she opposed this person being hired. She was on the news. And one thing this former board member said is like she didn't seek re-election. She's like, oh yeah, everybody knew about those indictments that are happening. I think it's either District 65 or 56. I just have 65 in my head, in Illinois, whatever. It's a federal indictment. Wire fraud, kickbacks, hiring friends. I guess he is stressed. And he was in front of the judge on Martin Luther King Day. Isn't that something? And the attorney that was there with him, keep in mind, it's Martin Luther King. He wasn't in a suit. He showed up with slacks on, looked like he had a warm-up suit and a jacket on top. So this was his day off. He probably was trying to enjoy his family and go do something, but he had to come be in court with this person. The lawyer was a black man. No, his attorney looked like in Illinois was a white man. Yeah, he did all that stuff. All those people that were rallying around him, he probably ain't hearing anything from any of them, because this superintendent we're talking about was African American. The replacement is a white man, and he has some background in California, etc. He's interim. I doubt seriously he's going to take the permanent. He's probably just doing the interim. They'll probably look for somebody else. He's come and go in a number of places. He was a superintendent in a very small school system in Metro Atlanta. He's been a principal. He came back and he was doing something like operations and stuff. Anyway, this school system is interesting. Plus, I mean, before they got this person, they had a couple interims in between all the other ones. Then there was another one, black woman, and they ended up firing her in the middle of a meeting. She lost access to her stuff. She ended up, I believe, getting an attorney and getting a settlement. They had this other man who was a chief of operations, very briefly in 2021, in between when the students were out of school and they were just starting to return. And he got the job. It was very briefly. He started finding things in Whistleblower allegedly, and once he started finding stuff, then it looks like the board and all the other people turned it on him. And when I tell you they trash talk this man, I don't even want to say his name, but what I will say is he sued for whistleblowing stuff. unfortunately, he passed away in a car accident. The other thing that they did with this man was allegedly he was somewhere, and allegedly he was drinking, and that's like a big no. So I don't know all the story of it, but I know that they just tried to create a really negative narrative about him. And after he tragically died in the car accident, his estate won a settlement from the same school system. Mm-hmm. That's some crazy stuff. There was this teacher that won like around a $100,000 settlement, and she was in the school and she was having uh, mental stress that was impacting her physical health. So she went off and she was granted a month, and then or so, whatever. And she came back and they placed her office near the noisiest place, like the noisiest place. Just think like cafeteria, gym, where kids transition. And so it stressed her out. So she took off some more time. Um, and then I think they denied it. They probably put her on a PIP and all kind of stuff like that. Okay, so eventually she won a settlement. Now this is all the same school system. These are just things that I'm naming, and that was in the newspaper. It's an Open Information Act, and there was this other principal that was sending. There was a complaint by one of the assistant principals that did this complaint on this person. So, you have some nurse besties and a few of the, not the secretaries, but some of the other ancillary staff, specialty teachers that are zipping and zooming, and audiologists, people that are zipping. They're bopping around the school system. And they're like, oh, word on the street, alleged is that principal made that AP turn their desks around and face a wall so it wouldn't look out and see the students. So I had some interaction with this principal. I won't really get into that. It was not a good interaction. It was terrible. That could probably be a whole nother video. But anyway, she at this place was collecting money for shirts, and when she got them, she decided she didn't want them, sent them back. But the only thing is, allegedly, she kept all the money, all the teachers' money, all the staff's money who ordered the t-shirt. She pocketed, and she was actually given a directive in this lawsuit to pay all the teachers back. Now, I don't know which persons this was happening to, what I'm about to say. There's this staff member, I think it was maybe like either a paraprofessional or a secretary, someone that's not making a lot of money. And this principal allegedly asked this person to come and do various people, one or two, whatever, focus on the story, came and asked them to pick up her prescription medications, asked her to come to the house and do an air filter, asked for various housekeeping and upkeeping things. Now, I don't know what that principal was doing for that person, but it doesn't seem like it, and it seems like they was intimidated. I can see how I've seen the people over this place. So anywho, she ended up being taken out of there, and she ended up going into this job. She had a 6-figure job as a principal. They transferred her to a non-student contact job, 6 figures, dealing with some kind of federal funds. Now, why would you want to send somebody over to do that? But anyway, I was on the Facebooks. I was over there looking on Marky's website, Zuckerberg, and there's, have you some teacher besties. These are my teacher besties in my head. And she was on Facebook, and she's like, oh, that principal has had issues before. That's one of the reasons that these seniors at this particular school didn't get their yearbooks or didn't get them on time. So I'm trying to figure out Who does this principal have dirt on? Okay. There's plenty of nice principals around there that are doing perfectly good work that they have gotten rid of, put a target on them, that are perfectly great principals. But then you have people like this, principals that are doing all kind of devilment. And then you have superintendent like this that is did all kind of devilment in Illinois, and is now in the metro Atlanta area doing devilment. And somebody, a board of 7 board members, 6 were in favor and 1 opposed. And the one that opposed, they had put ethic violations on her and all kind of stuff. And so long story short, I really I don't miss that at all. I will take some sacred silence and sitting in a parking lot talking and having a very quiet, soft, uneventful life. I will take that over going back and dealing with any of that stuff ever again. So anyway, next time, everyone, talk to you later.